Good morning, guys. Welcome to Vintage Genetics. Dexter right there. Where's all the classic body going? I had my lowest weigh-in of this prep for the Olympia yet, 112.3. Just sent my weight to the coach, and we'll see whether it's going to be a high day today or not. I think it will be, or tomorrow, but probably today because the weight dropped quite significantly. Around 700 grams in one day, and the previous day also around that, so it goes down pretty quickly again. When that happened last time, we had a high day. But anyway, let me show you my routine in the morning. So I just had this shaker bottle, almost a liter of water, with 12 grams of Value Meta Plus. This is a bit of caffeine, bit of green tea, bit of fat, oxidation improving compounds, but not a lot of everything, so you can actually take it. Doesn't cut your ears at all. Tastes amazing, mango orange flavor. It makes it much easier to drink that liter of water in the morning. So that's what I downed, including 15 grams of glutamine. So just put these together in the shaker, drink it. And now it is time for very impatient Dexter to start on his breakfast before we start the rest of the day. Are you enjoying your breakfast, Dexter? Very healthy. We have some high protein yogurt or quark, cacao chocolate, blueberries, healthy muesli, pretty much meaning no added sugar, some nuts, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So he's gonna grow up to be nice and strong, and he likes it as well. So, conclusion by the coach. Today we're gonna pretty much, how do you call that? Solidify that weight, that low weight of today. Mostly also because tomorrow, yeah, you want another bite, don't you? Because tomorrow is going to be a rest day, and we like to carb up on a rest day because after a rest day is a leg day. So the carbs from the rest day will then be able to be utilized on the leg day. And since I work out after meal number 1, it works out very well. So today is just going to be another regular day. Not truly a low day in my opinion, as you've seen in my full day of eating and in the previous videos. You can see that I still have a good breakfast, still a good post-workout meal, still a good post-workout meal, and even after that the meal has carbs, so only 2 meals without carbs. Doesn't matter to me at all. It's still very easy to follow. And my weight is dropping, so I can't ask for anything else. But that's the nice thing of having a coach. If I was coaching myself, I would have probably done the high day, but having a coach, just doing the work and then finding out the logic behind that works so much easier, because then you can shut off your mental thinking ability around that, and work together on the best plan, and then you can do it in peace without doubting yourself. Oh, should I do the high day? Should I not? Was it too early? Was it too late? Doesn't matter. As long as you have someone who can look at you objectively and you know something about your own progress in terms of knowledge on how to look at it yourself as well, everything will be fine. Anyway, let me finish giving Dexter his breakfast, and then instead of regular cardio, we're actually going to be doing a long walk outside. Bobby is here as well, our dogs. We're just going to walk outside, and I use that as the cardio for today, and make sure then that the steps of the day are going to be increased, as opposed to 30 minutes of cardio and 10,000 steps. It's now going to be like 12,500 steps. Anyway, see you soon. Just got back walking. Damn, the skull face is looking interesting. But anyway, just got back home from walking with Dexter and Bobby. A little over a 30-minute walk. Nice and cold outside for sure. But anyway, let me show you the breakfast I'm gonna have myself. And there we have it. This is cream of rice combined with oatmeal, strawberries, cacao chocolate, and on top we have a delicious layer of whey frosting. ESN designer whey protein. This whey tastes absolutely incredible, and this time its flavor, peanut butter cookie dough. I've been very, very surprised and pleasantly pleased with all of the flavors I've used up until now. So I've used chocolate, I've used like a strawberry flavor, I've used a blueberry flavor, blueberry cheesecake, which is incredible, a new flavor, and now a peanut butter flavor. They're all excellent, and if you use them even on top of a very bland oatmeal creation, this will add such an incredible layer, like truly the role of a frosting on top of a cake. If the cake would taste bland, the frosting would give it life. Anyway, let's enjoy. Alrighty guys, it's time for the first movement, and that is going to be a chest supported pull down. What you want to do with a pull down is, first of all, find a movement that works for you. So just a regular lat pull down, like top to bottom, doesn't really work for me because it doesn't agree with my anatomy. I want to be in a bit more of an angle, so if I sit back a little bit, the angle shifts that way, and I can truly focus on contracting the lats by allowing my shoulders to be a bit lower and my elbows to be closer to the body. Because ultimately you want to be able to pull your elbows to your hip, and it has to feel natural and non-restrictive. So using a chest support and an angle allows you to use a good amount of weight with a good amount of control. With every set, and this is kind of my strategy, with every warm-up, I do 1 lap around the gym. With every working set, I do 3 laps around the gym. Depending on how big your gym is, you might want to reduce that, but in that way I get thousands of extra steps in for the day, which reduces the mental fatigue of knowing how many sets you still have to do at the end of the day. So yeah, let's walk in between the sets. And that's the most difficult part of this movement, getting into the position. So we want to do at least 9 reps or more, as I logged that last time. That's the big advantage of logging, guys. No need to think about what you did last time, no need to remember it. Log it, watch it from last time, and just repeat what you did. And if you can't, then you have some objective values to see, okay, did I sleep enough? Is my fatigue too high? Do I need to cut the volume? Stuff like that. So let's give it a shot. The vest has come off to reveal the new Olympia bound Vintage Genetics oversized t-shirt. As you can see on the back, also print Olympia bound in golden, which of course motivates me a whole lot to give it my all during every single workout that I have to do before the Olympia. So let's go. More volume with a lighter weight, which is a win to me. And now we're done with the pull downs, and it's time for the first back row. It's just about, well, it's the exact same attachment, so about shoulder width. Allows you to get the elbows close to the body to really emphasize the back more. If you do it way too wide, you're gonna work the biceps more as well, and not as much the back relatively. And it's a safer way to train the back, more mind-muscle connection, and it's a standardized way of training the back, because if you don't do it this way, you're gonna have imbalances, and whenever you log a lift like that and you don't always standardize it with the same form, you never know how strong you truly are with a good form. That's why I always say get as strong as possible as you can with full range of motion, good execution, and then you actually have objective measurements to go off of. One of my favorite rows for sure. If you can go heavy and you feel it in the muscles, that's exactly what you want. And that's it for this one. The next one is also going to be a chest supported version, but then against gravity. Let's go. All right, so we're going to do the steel row here. And the steel row is just an interesting name for also a chest supported row, but against gravity. And this is a very difficult one. So you can't really go that heavy. So I'm only doing like in between 70 and 80 kilos. And it's also a different kind of bar. So it's a cambered bar, which means it wraps around the bench, and also it has a neutral hammer grip. So it's a very different one compared to a regular bent over row. You first of all have a lot of lower back pressure, stress, spinal fatigue, and here you don't, and that's the big benefit. As you notice, and as I always say in each and every contest prep video, I don't go all the way to failure. I could have tried one more, but that rep would have caused way too much fatigue for the stimulus it provides. So the ratio will be off. You don't want it to be off during contest prep because recovery is limited and your goal is muscle retention and not necessarily muscle growth, because you literally don't have the calories to make that happen. Always want to take enough rest in between sets like this. Even though it is a chest supported one, it's still a free weight movement. It still requires a lot of balance to actually stay on this bench. It's quite narrow, so you can fall to the left or right side if you're not careful. So also the volume in the last two movements were 4 sets each. This will be 3 sets, as it's more fatiguing and you don't want to risk too much fatigue, as I always say, boringly perhaps, but that's exactly how I have achieved a way fuller look on stage compared to last time. So I'm always gonna keep repeating it. That's it for the sets in the C row. Now it's time to finish the back with a nice isolation movement. So we're gonna do a cable pullover now, which is a very nice way to isolate the lats. How is it an isolation movement? Because you're not using the biceps, you're isolating the movement from other muscles. Every other movement I've just done, it requires elbow bend, and when your elbow is bending, you use the biceps. Here, you keep your arms pretty much in a steady position. And we're gonna do a medium grip. So about a little closer to shoulder width, because with that width, I feel a very good stretch in the lats. So it's gonna be about a width like this. Pretty much put your arms straight forward to start with, and then play around with the width to see what feels the best. What you wanna feel here is an incredible stretch, but also the contraction. If you don't feel the squeeze anymore, I would recommend moving on to the next set or lowering the weight in order to do enough reps with both the stretch and the squeeze feeling. So the more isolated a movement is, the less rest you need in between the sets. So you don't, you always want to strike a balance. You don't want to wait like 10 minutes in between sets. Yes, you would be at your very strongest, but you also lose the pump. You will lose the warm up from all the other movements you've done. So the effectiveness of that next set could be, more riskier for injury. And yeah, it's difficult to objectify and standardize if you have to take such long rests every single time. So really listen to your body. If you do a heavy compound movement, your breathing will be heavier, your heart rate will be elevated for longer compared to an isolation movement. So for example, if I have to wait 2.5 minutes in between chest supported pull down, I might have to wait like 1.5 minutes here for the same heart rate to be achieved. And that way, you can get started again. So let's do this. Final working set on this one. Blah. Woo. So that's the pullover done. Now we're gonna work on the rear delts. And instead of doing a rear delt fly, we are going to do a rear delt row. Let's check it out. We are going to turn this one, into a rear delt row. So I've done this one before. What you want to do here is actually make the grip width wider than shoulder width, because now we're gonna row it like this. And you want your arms to be, parallel, your upper arm to be parallel to the floor. And you also want it to be 90 degrees in between. Because if it's not, if you do it like this, for example, you use too much biceps. If you do it too wide, there's gonna be an awkward, weak row. You want this cable to be parallel to this arm. So you wanna do it like this, and you want the grip width to be designed to actually be able to hold your arms exactly like that. So let's check out the logbook to see what we did last time. And that was actually 85 kilos. Let's put it here. And the main difference between a cable, a rear delt row and a rear delt fly is now we are using the biceps a bit, so it's not a complete isolation movement, but you're also able to put more weight on the rear delts. So with a pec deck, for example, reverse pec deck, your shoulder blades will actually go back until you literally can't go back anymore. That automatically targets the rear delts. But with this one, with the row, what you really want to do is not pull back the shoulder blades with it, but actually keep the shoulder blades wide and only use the rear delts to row the movement. And that way you can isolate the rear delts from the back. Yes, you're using a bit of biceps, but you won't notice it at all. If you do this one correctly, you will feel a nice burning sensation in the rear delts and not in the back at all. So you don't want to feel anything in the traps. If you do, lighten the weight and truly, have someone else look at you to see if your shoulder blades are moving. It really should only be your shoulders themselves and your arms. So I just need to do 2 working sets here, because the rear delts aren't a weak point. If it is a weak point for you and you really notice with a side chest that the rear delts are lacking, make it 4 working sets. Every single back workout. Add it on top of your back workout, and trust me, if you get a good mind-muscle connection there, they will grow. And now it's time for the biceps. There's a lot of different options for bicep curls, but what you really want to look out for is 1 time a week you should focus on a bicep curl that stretches the bicep, and 1 time a week you should focus on one that contracts the bicep to the max. So we're going to do an alternating dumbbell curl, and that really focuses on the contraction, because the moment you go down, there's no tension anymore on the bicep pretty much, unless you go pretty quickly and then go straight back up, then you're actually fighting the momentum, but otherwise there's no tension at the bottom. But it feels very, very good to do this one. And for example, next time I'll be doing an incline dumbbell curl to focus on the stretch part. That's one way to train the biceps if they are strong. If they're a weak point, train both the stretch and the contraction part every single time that you train the biceps. So let's get straight into the working set weight here. I'm not going to absolute failure, because what happens if you go to absolute failure here, you take away from the next working sets. And as I mentioned, I always mention the fatigue that will be added when we work it anyway. In the off season, it's a different story, guys, because then you have the recovery capability. And also, if you go to absolute failure, your body's just going to go this and this and this just to do that extra rep, and then you're actually causing fatigue on other parts of your body. That's not what you want. So, little rest. Let's do this one again. I go lower in weight, so I'm able to, first of all, of course, prevent irritation of the distal bicep tendon, because sometimes if you go too heavy and try to force yourself into a rep range with body language, you might irritate a tendon, which you don't want to have had that happen twice already. Haven't had any injuries or anything at all for a long time. So if you go lower in weight, you can up the rep range and stay in a safe rep range, which is better for smaller muscle groups like the biceps. So that's it for the back, rear delts and biceps. And now as always, after the back workout, we're gonna do some abdominal work. Don't forget about that. The rope cable abdominal crunch. Not the rope. Normally people use a rope, but I use this V-bar for the back. Allows for a much better grip. So it's basically just a cable crunch. And it allows for very good tension at the bottom, which is what I like, and it also allows for abdominal control, keeping the abs sucked in, allowing to view the abs as you're doing the movement, and most importantly, treat this movement just like every other movement. So not high rep, not body weight, no, the abdominals are also the same muscles as the rest of your body, so they need heavy weights, a decent rep range, and full range of motion. So that's exactly what we're going to do. A lot of lactic acid buildup there. You feel a very good squeeze in the abs. And that's what you want, guys. You want the muscle to feel exactly as I just trained the biceps. It's gonna feel at the contraction point, and just feels great. just 10 kilos less, but about 6 reps more. Felt really good. And what I'm really trying to do is keep the abs inside. So I'm not trying to push them outside, I'm trying to keep them sucked in to also work not only the rectus abdominis, which is the six-pack abs, but also the vastus medialis. I mean, no, the transverse abdominis. My apologies, spread mind. The vastus medialis. No, the transverse abdominis. That runs below the rectus abdominis, responsible for the vacuum. That's what you also have to contract here, because the stronger that muscle becomes, the more it's going to be sucking in your stomach at all times, keeping the organs in place. Anyway, that was the workout. As you realize, I need some carbs to make the brain function and to fuel the muscles again. I already prepared that at home, by the way, because we're training a bit earlier than normal. So I already prepared it at home to bump up the volume. When you prepare it fresh and hot, you can add less water, but now I added more water and now it's in the fridge. And I'm gonna show you what that looks like right now. So first, the post-workout meal. As you see, it's a nice amount of volume, the exact same pretty much as the breakfast, minus the Callebaut chocolate, so no fat source, but 20 grams more cream of rice / oatmeal. This is the protein source, whey paste, blueberry cheesecake flavor by ESN Designer Whey. Incredible. And here are the supplements I like to take post-workout. Ashwagandha lowers cortisol levels and calms your body down. Omega-3, because I take this 2 capsules with every single meal. And also magnesium to relax the muscles and relaxes the mind as well. And it's a mineral a lot of people are missing in their diet, and a lot of people are deficient in magnesium. And I also take, as you can see right here, this is the omega-3, this is the magnesium. This is actually apple cider vinegar. I take it with every meal as well. And this is astragalus, good for the kidneys. And this is the ashwagandha, so that's what I like to take. And I'll also be adding Ceylon cinnamon, as you can see, on top of this meal to create the perfect post-workout insulin sensitizing meal. Let's enjoy. Here we are again in the kitchen. So I just made some delicious curry for Dexter and Marley. But I'm not eating that, I'm eating my post-workout meal. Let me show you what that is. And I will also tell you something about what people are saying about those meals. So this is the post-workout meal. So my highest carbs meals are my pre-workout, my post-workout, and then the so-called post-workout meal. So this is 70 grams of cream of rice instead of the 120 grams post-workout. And the protein source on top is Vayu Final Protein, vanilla flavor, delicious. Some strawberries, as you can see, no fat source. However, what people are saying is, aren't you eating too much cream of rice, too much whey? Shouldn't you be eating wholesome foods, wholesome meals? Well, first of all, 3 and maybe even 4 of my meals of the day are always vegetables, chicken, fish, or beef, with at the end a fat source in the form of a salmon steak or whole eggs, for example. So I do get a lot of that in my diet anyway, but what I want around training is when I have a carb source, I want those to be digested nice and quick, plus the quality of Vayu and ESN whey is very, very high, and it digests very well as well. I enjoy those meals, and you can up the volume quite a lot. There's only so many vegetables you can add before it starts to wear on your digestive system, and it goes up in price as well. It goes up in space in your house as well. If you have like 400 grams of vegetables with every single meal, here I can literally add 700 mils of water, and it's a very big meal, very voluminous during the prep. That's what I like. During the off season, I also like meals like this because you can add a lot less water, yet the digestion is very much there. I also, as you can see, to every single cream of rice meal, I add strawberries, which is a fruit. So this is 150 grams in the morning, 150 grams, post-workout 200 grams. So that's already 500 grams of fruits in those 3 meals. So all in all, they're healthy, also wholesome, complete macronutrient rich meals. And this is actually one of those wholesome meals. As you can see, we have shrimps, cucumber. It doesn't look the prettiest, I know. We have some pumpkin, beneath there some parsnip even. and some zucchini, mushroom, bell pepper, and delicious rice. 50 grams of rice is my last carb meal. The next 2 meals will be this, but without the rice, and then an omelette with with some asparagus, and that's it. So that's pretty much the day today. Tomorrow is 99% going to be a high day. If you want to see that and how I pretty much prepare myself for the Olympia on a daily basis, check out my Instagram at Wesley Vissers. You can check it down below as well, just click on the link. Anyway, thank you a lot for watching, and don't forget to stay